Thanks for staying with us. And now let's get started on the latest from Wikileaks Cablegate saga. The latest catch to be made public accuses Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa of war crimes. Patricia Butenis, the US's ambassador to Colombo, sent a secret diplomatic cable to the State Department this year detailing atrocities against civilians towards the end of the war against the LTTE. Here are the details.
Mahinda Rajapaksa, President of Sri Lanka, guilty of war crimes but still in power. Wikileaks has revealed how the US ambassador to Colombo admitted in January this year that President Rajapaksa, his brothers and General Sarath Fonseka were responsible for many alleged war crimes. Sri Lankan forces battling the LTTE in the final phase of the conflict in 2009. Hundreds of thousands of innocent, unarmed Tamil civilians trapped between the two forces in an ever-shrinking no-fire zone. As the hours passed, international aid organizations claimed over 150,000 Tamil civilians remained trapped when the government forces broke through the final barriers. The end result caused shock and outrage across the world. On the 15th of January 2010, in a secret diplomatic cable to Washington, the US ambassador to Colombo, Patricia Butenis, wrote, "Accountability for alleged crimes committed by the government of Sri Lanka troops and officials during the war is the most difficult issue on our bilateral agenda." She noted, in Sri Lanka, responsibility for many of the alleged crimes rests with the country's senior civilian and military leadership, including President Rajapaksa and his brothers and opposition candidate General Fonseka. But the most damaging part of her report was the admission that the official terror and victimization of Sri Lanka's Tamils didn't just end with the war. Ambassador Butenis wrote, "Tamil leaders with whom we spoke in Colombo, Jaffna and elsewhere said now was not the time, and that pushing hard on the issue of war crimes accountability would make them vulnerable." Clearly, the United States needs to act on what it acknowledges is a gross violation of the very ethics that America stands for. International Desk, NewsX.
And staying on this story, shortly before Sri Lanka declared victory last year, aid organizations estimated that close to 150,000 Tamil civilians remained trapped in the war zone. The army said 70,000 of them had escaped. The key to the fate of the other 80,000 may lie in the chilling words from Sri Lankan's Foreign Secretary in this exclusive interview to NewsX's Rodin D'Souza shortly before Sri Lanka declared victory against the LTTE.
Your military has said that since the 14th, about 70 to 80,000 civilians more have been rescued from that conflict zone. Can you tell us whether there were any possibilities of any civilians being left behind in the conflict zone in the last hours of battle?
We don't believe so. Every civilian who could walk, run or swim or float even came across to the government side over the last 2 or 3 days. We have got a large number of civilians under our care at the moment, and we're very confident that all the civilians have come across.